And now, to find out who wins betting big on Brickell Condos, please welcome to the stage senior reporter and residential bureau chief, Catherine Kalergis. And joining her on our first panel of the day, Camilo Miguel Jr., Edgardo Defortuna, and Henry Bott.
Hi, everyone. Are you excited to be here today? So my name is Catherine Kalergis. I am Residential Bureau Chief and Senior Reporter at The Real Deal. And today we're going to be talking about Brickell. With us, I have Henry Bott, President of Swire Property.
Hello.
Camilo Miguel Jr., Founder and CEO of Mass Capital. And Edgardo Defortuna, Founder, President, and CEO of Fortune International Group. Okay, so development is booming in Brickell, where a number of office, condo, and multifamily projects are planned. Our speakers are incredibly active in the neighborhood. Swire, which developed the first phase of Brickell City Center, lands a Class A office tower with Steve Ross, of related Ross. Swire is also doing the residences at Mandarin Oriental at Brickell Key, which Edgardo is selling. Fortune is also handling the sales and marketing for Mass Capital's Cipriani residences. And Mass Capital is doing Cipriani event. So obviously this is the morning after a major presidential election. The stock market is up by a lot today. I want to start with a question on the election. What effects do you see this having on development in South Florida?
The elections typically mark the end of volatility, and I think we're seeing that right now in terms that elections typically mark the end of volatility, and I think we're seeing that now in the way the market reacted. There have been a number of deals working that where they've been sitting on the sidelines, ready to move forward to buy a Cipriani, for example, where they were just waiting to see the outcomes of this election. Even as of this morning, we've started to see those deals now come through because people are willing to pull the trigger and make a move. People just don't like the uncertainty approaching the election. They'd rather see clear direction and know exactly what the outcomes are going to be. I think that's what the election has provided today.
Yeah, from the foreign markets perspective, I think that people were on the sidelines waiting for the election to see what impact would have in exchange rates with the dollar and their particular currencies. So now I think they're going to feel a lot more comfortable about it. And also from the immigration policies and accessibility to the country and stuff. So people were sitting for the last few weeks on the sidelines, but I think that the momentum is really going to be great this time.
Do you see this affecting the foreign buyer market at all in terms of just, concerns over immigration?
I don't think so. I mean, there might be some particular pockets or countries that might be a little bit more affected, but I think that the buyer, especially the buyer in our societal crowd, is really not affected by that.
Well, more than a dozen projects are underway in Brickell. Many of them are branded. In addition to your developments, Mercedes-Benz is doing a tower, Baccarat, Viceroy, there's Dolce & Gabbana, there's a ton of brands. What is driving this demand?
I think first and foremost, fundamentally, it's the appeal of Brickell as a neighborhood. Now, over the last 8 or 9 years, we've really seen a densification in Brickell, largely catalyzed by the launch of Swire's Brickell City Centre. But that's really helped a lot. And with that densification has come a shift, I think, in the center of gravity in Miami to Brickell. And also, it's allowed Brickell to sort of reach out, we get close to reach what is a real sweet spot in urbanism, where you have this concept of a 15-minute city, where people can walk within a 15-minute radius to achieve access to their daily needs. And that's, I think, quite a compelling proposition. Now, developers have want to capture that demand, obviously, and to do so, I think they really need to differentiate themselves. And that's why, or partly why, you're seeing this proliferation of branded residences in Brickell.
I would love to really give a great shout to the amazing broker community that we have here, because they are there is a huge impact on what the demand is in all our projects. But in addition to that, I think we have a couple of agents that are really working for us that are not in South Florida. Mayor de Blasio in New York, the governor of California, and even foreign agents like the Lopez Obrador in Mexico, and the president of Chile, the president of Colombia. I think that really everybody's working for to grow this market. But as Henry was saying, the quality of product that we're putting in, the type of branding and the type of lifestyle that we're providing really makes a huge difference. And you haven't seen that in Brickell because the cost versus price wasn't there. But now really people are really understanding what the urbanism is and why the living in Brickell is really an amazing lifestyle.
Can you all talk a little bit about pricing at your projects and how that's kind of evolved in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, at the residences at Mandalay or Miami on Brickell Key, we are currently achieving between $2,500 and $2,800. We've actually done a handful of deals that have exceeded $3,000 a foot, which for Brickell, I think is a record. But I think even that pricing represents real value for money when you consider that what we're offering on Brickell Key is waterfront access, waterfront views in perpetuity, essentially. You compare that to the pricing on the beach, feels like good value. And then with the penthouses, we launched those, and there's a very unique opportunity to combine both penthouses into a $100 million super penthouse. So yeah, it's quite exciting.
Pricing at Cipriani has really moved. We've also sold units at Cipriani north of $3,000 a foot, which is quite incredible. We are seeing prices that historically not been seen in Brickell neighborhood, but I think that is a testament to the quality of the product that we're now delivering as developers in the market. Another thing that I'd like to highlight, which I think is important and I think echoes a little bit what he said, which is our neighborhood is an additional amenity to what we're doing because it's so vibrant. There's so much light there now. There's food and beverage offerings. There's new office buildings, 830 Brickell being built. That's really starting to redefine our market because not only do you have the Citadel of the world moving into our city, you also have law firms like Kirkland, which took a lot of space and are moving a lot of people down there, which is a big national firm. And I think that's going to continue. So I think if we continue to focus on quality of product that we're delivering in the market, which obviously costs more to build, which means we have to sell for higher numbers, but the market is embracing it and they really enjoy it because you have a more discerning buyer today. And not only are they investing in our city, they're actually looking to move here. And I think that's a very important thing. And when they're looking to live and reside in Miami, the quality of the product that they want to be buying needs to be high. Because that's going to become their home. We have people that have bought multiple units in our project because they're moving the whole family. They're moving their kids, they're moving their parents. I mean, just it's pretty interesting to see that dynamic and continue to develop.
Yeah, the other day, Steve Ross, unrelated, came to visit the Mandarin Oriental Sales Center, and I didn't tell this to Henry, but he calls me up and says, "Guys, you're selling way too cheap," because those finishes are really a tremendous value. So, and really people that are from other parts of the country and understand value versus the proposition that we're really offering are really amazed. So the potential appreciation of these units are very, very significant.
So you want to raise prices high? I'm not on any thought, but I'm not any ideas. Let's keep the momentum up.
So obviously you're talking about a more discerning buyer. What is it how do you sell them on your developments then? Because obviously you have a ton of competition. So what is it? Is it coming into the sales center? Is it showing them the finishes?
It's really understanding what the buyer really wants, and there are different propositions. And even though there are similar characteristics of buildings, the lifestyle that each one presents or really provides, it's different in many ways. And that's why the differentiation factor comes. I mean, Cipriani is really very exclusive. It's really only for the unit owners. It's in the perfect location that is in the middle of everything, but really apart from the traffic of Brickell. And for instance, Mandarin is going to have everything. It has the hotel right next door, a walking distance to Brickell City Center. have the really different almost it's the same thing with our project Guarda by Gasatua. I mean, even though it's across the street from the Brickell to Briani, it's basically a totally different product. And we see this for time for the person that is using the unit part of the time and it loves to rent them and have additional income with providers in the type of investment that they have. So no one though, and also even have the lifestyle, whether it's completely open to the public, the what we're loving at the drop door, it's open 24 hours with a great.
They have anything else like that.
So it's understanding what the buyer is looking for and trying to provide and act on what the information on the market is telling.
Yeah, I just add to that, but I think that the need to really differentiate is greater than ever. And what we're offering on Brickell Key, I think is pretty unique. It's essentially the best of both worlds. So you have it's serenity and tranquility of real island living, but you're earning moments from the action in Brickell. And in addition to that, the global brands of Swire and Man Oriental. Swire's been in Brickell for 40 years, and it's built out the whole of Brickell Key. Man Oriental has 60 years plus worth of experience delivering them luxury hospitality. That, I think, gives buyers a lot of assurance and comfort that we're really going to meet and exceed expectations. And then finally, I'd say just having a hotel on site. And having a hotel component that can really deliver on that service proposition and provide all the amenities, the services that the residents want in brand new residents. I think that's pretty important.
What are some of the challenges that you're all facing right now? I know Edgardo just mentioned traffic.
It might be easier if I just come back to hours.
I think we've all been stuck in Brickell before. So.
Yeah, that's certainly traffic and to some extent the same challenges that Miami have, which is affordability. And I mean, of course, we're all building very, very high-end product, but Brickell is not all here. Brickell is more. That's like, of course, if you go all the way with projects all the way to 95 years ago. So might as well you're this to your own in an organic way. But there is really a lot to do from the public and private perspective and trying to solve some of those issues of traffic. The bridge, of course, is an issue. But I was when I went to the rail deal dinner last night. I got to stop at the traffic light on 8th and Brook. And it's the moment in time where all the lights are red and people can cross. And I was shocked by the amount of people crossing the street. It felt like you were in Tokyo in that big street where everybody crosses at the same time. Honestly, I was really, wow. I mean, it's really become a very, very urban city with pedestrians that are really going everywhere and a very, very active list.
Billionaire hedge fund manager Ken Griffin made a big splash, with his record spending in Brickell. He's planning a $1 billion plus super tall on Biscayne Bay. It's kind of unclear when exactly that would be built, but I wanted to ask you guys, is the Citadel Effect real? And how important is it for, them to build this tower relatively soon and seize on that momentum?
I think the Citadel Effect is real. We have sold units at Cipriani to a number of Citadel team members. And we do see Ken's commitment being real to Miami. He's certainly made tremendous investments across the city or across Southeast Florida, quite frankly. And I think that the positive of that is, I think that today's youth still sees New York slightly as the center of the universe for them, but they're starting to shift because a lot of beautiful people are coming down here too and looking at Miami as a place to work, be groomed, be trained, and learn. But the amount of wealth that is being drawn by the Citadels of the world, because he's also not the only organization with you down there. He's certainly the most talked about and most impactful. But, Thoma Bravo has an office down here and other PE firms too that are moving down here and hedge funds. So I think that effect is going to continue. And I think Miami's become that much more attractive. And we're seeing more, and I'm constantly talking to the industry, the hedge fund industry, the whole financial world up in New York, California, Chicago, and even Boston, actually, which we don't talk about that much here. And there's a number of organizations like them that are like-minded, that are finding Miami a better place to be, a better place to live, and really is going to continue to redefine our city and allow our city to grow and scale and mature as we have already over the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I think that's only the beginning of it. I mean, we're only seeing a smaller impact on Citadel, even though Ken has been very great in philanthropy and helping education organizations and art and everything else. But the people are basically, we manage the Panorama Tower in a 121 rental building, and a lot of the executives are still renting. They're apples in the market. They're seeing where they like to live. So we were just seeing the beginning effects of the Citadel, and I agree. I mean, there's the Microsoft, there's the Googles, there's really a lot of people moving to Miami also.
Yeah, I think Ken has done a great job of raising the profile of Miami. But for Brickell, I think the appeal of Brickell existed a long time before Ken made that purchase in 2022. And perhaps as part of the reason why he chose Brickell, why he chose that site. And since 2016, when Brickell City Centre opened, 6,000 residential units and condos have been delivered to that neighborhood within Brickell, and that has really created a vibrancy that is attracting companies like Brickell, like Citadel to Brickell.
We have reported on a slowdown in office leasing. How is the office market performing, and how is that maybe affecting your plans, Henry, for the office tower?
Yeah, I mean, office nationwide has been challenging. Right? There's been various states who've returned to work, and capital markets have been jammed up. But Miami, I think the fundamentals are very strong. Or the quality of the existing stock and of office in Brickell particularly is not great. So there's opportunities in new true and grade A stock to come in, and there be a flight to quality. So we're really just focused on finishing the demolition of the existing structures. We've got one of those buildings down ready. The next one demolition will start in the next few weeks. And we're bullish on realizing the value of that site and the future gains a fantastic sale.
Condo development is obviously easier, I think, to finance as long as you have the pre-sales. What are your conversations like with lenders? What is the appetite like right now?
Compared to this time last year, we're seeing a tremendous amount of appetite for condo financing. We're seeing that spreads have tightened. Many lenders that were out of the market are now back in the market and being very aggressive about being able to finance the product. I think they're viewing it from a risk-reward perspective as a great place to deploy capital. We're working on a number of financings right now in the space, and they're very, very successful, and our execution will be materially better than it would have been last year.
Yeah, the condo model here in South Florida is spectacular from the financing point of view for those institutions and you can see it. I mean, not only banks, but a lot of funds are really into that space, because it's really, if you have the pre-sales and you have a great sponsorship, it's a very, very safe amount. The amount of values are significantly lower than in other types of projects. So I think the trend, I agree 100% with Camilo, is going to continue, and there are going to be more players because it's really very, very great appetite for it.
And Camilo, you scored a record construction loan earlier this year, right, for Cipriani?
Yeah, at the time, we closed a $600 million construction loan, which at the time was a record for a single tower financing in Florida. So this is a great milestone for us. And now the building, you're going to start to see it from the street, because we've already we poured our foundation a couple weeks ago, and it's performing really well, and construction's ahead of schedule, which is really exciting. It's hard to say right nowadays in today's construction world, say construction's ahead of schedule, but
now we have to ask for the completion date. Nobody wants to be thanked. So we have also reported a lot, obviously, on the condo collapse in 2021 and the legislation that came out of that that is requiring older buildings to shore up their financial and structural health. A lot of condo buildings are ripe for a buyout. I know that you all, well, we've seen on Henry, but I know that you have all done condo buyouts before. Do you see, are you working on any opportunities? You can tell about what is that market like right now?
If we tell you, we'll have to tell you about it.
We can talk after. That's fine.
No, but it's certainly, obviously, there's no secret that especially waterfront land is basically non-existent. So you have to try to figure out where you can put the next great tower, and I know Camilo is very active in that arena, and so are we. It's even though the regulations look like they're favoring that type of transaction, I don't think that many condos are ready to really absorb that information. And again, a way we both, all of us, have spoiled them into paying but the prior acquisitions double and more than double the value of the market value of the units, and everybody's expecting the same thing, even though they are potentially in trouble spending significant money in specialists. So I mean, it's something that's happening. It's not as quick as everybody thought that it would be with these new regulations.
Do you see the pricing coming down because these buildings will be in a more vulnerable position?
I don't know. It's depends on each specific situation in each specific condo, but the ones that need to get out, and sometimes it depends on how much you can put in that site in order to see how much you pay. I think that they need to come to the realization that either they spend, and in some cases 50% of the unit value in special assessments that are really not improving that much the value of their individual units, or they really team up together and sell to a developer that can pay more money than the market value to do this.
Right now I think some of these buildings are have some challenging times because any of the unit owners cannot afford to put up the money necessary to pay for the assessments to improve the buildings and bring them to more modern standards. And that's an unfortunate reality. And then sometimes it's a lot of the unit owners don't even live in the buildings, don't even use their units, and some of them are foreign, so they're less motivated to do so. And I think sometimes that creates an opportunity for owners of units to then say, look, let's find somebody who will buy the building or buy our unit. And I think that starts to create the potential of entering into a transaction. But at the end of the day, I think some of these buildings need help. Some of these buildings have unresolved issues that need to be resolved, and regulation is putting pressure on them to do that. And I think that will certainly continue. The unfortunate part of all of this is the buildings and locations where there really isn't any excess value on the table in the units in the buildings, because the development opportunity is really not that vast. And I think that's an unfortunate reality that exists across the state of Florida right now. But to find career land in a market like Southeast Florida, where barriers to entry are super, super high, I think that certainly is a place to look.
What I can tell you is that the mood on some of those condos has changed. Before, when we used to approach them at the beginning, we were looked at sort of the enemy coming to try to take it over, and now they're a lot more friendly. They're a lot more willing to try to figure out a way to get out of their problems, which is it's a first step in the right direction.
And going back to Brickell, development has, kind of bled south and west and up the river. And Edgardo, you recently launched Ballena Residences. Are you looking for more opportunities in that area? Do you see pricing kind of steadily rise? Can you talk a bit about that?
Obviously, I'm biased, but I think that the river it has incredible potential. They've probably the less discovered area of potential residential and entertainment and retail value that there is in Miami today. And I think that trend is going to continue. Hopefully, by bringing Faena and bringing the vibe of Miami Beach and the art and the experiences to that Brickell area, it's going to be very positive. But I think that a lot of people are going to really realize that's a spectacular area of the city, and many of the major cities in the world and our riverfronts are very, very active, and we've been sort of slow in that activation. I think that this is hopefully the beginning of a great number of potential projects in that area.
Camilo and Henry, are you looking at opportunities elsewhere?
We're always looking at opportunities. We're very big fans of the condo market, Southeast Florida and Miami, and more particularly at Brickell. So we're always looking at opportunities across Miami. and we're actively working out a few things on the Brickell market because we think that we continue to be vibrant as a market. Is probably the most mature when you look at CBD Miami.
You developed two wonderful rental, all the targeted projects on the river, and they did spectacularly well.
Super well. So we are leasing up a project on the Miami River right now where we built 1,100 linear feet of Riverwalk, which will likely connect to the Faena district as that continues to be extended down the river. The city wanted to connect all the way out to the bay. But we're leasing in phase 2 right now at 10% higher than we thought months ago. So
what are rents at? Do you know?
Yeah, they're north of $4 right now. So for that market, like we never dreamed that the rents would be getting there, but that shows you how our city has evolved and grown and changed.
So the title of our panel, which I should have addressed first, is Who Wins Big Betting on Brickell? And you don't need to name names, but I do want to know what are the characteristics of the projects that will succeed and which projects do you think will fail? Maybe you can name names, but we'd love that actually.
Obviously, I'm biased, but I would say I feel that Swire's winning so far. We made a pretty big bet on Brickell back in 2016 when there was really no scale retailer entertainment offering, and Brickell City Centre has brought that. But I go back to it's those projects that can really differentiate themselves, whether it's through unique location or the amenities, the service offering, whether that's through a hotel component. Those are the ones that have thrived. And the ones that are just brands without any of the actual substance, I think they will be the ones.
So, rising tides lifts all ships, right? So I'm fairly optimistic on the success across those projects. And I think the beauty of Southeast Florida and Brickell is many offerings are differentiated by different characteristics. And I think there's now a product for everyone. And I think that will drive the success of the majority of the projects out there. And I'm very optimistic on how they're going to perform going forward.
Yeah, I'm biased towards projects that can improve the way people live. And those are the ones that are usually associated with hospitality brands more than with other types of brands. So we really try to concentrate on that because buyers are not only looking for real estate, but are also looking to see how they're going to live and what impacts and the management and operations of the building have in their lives. And I think that the training and the quality of personnel that the people that are handling hospitality brands is significantly better and a lot more educated and professional than the other brands that are really testing those waters now. So I'm really big on the hospitality.
So, sense. Well, I want to thank our speakers for joining us today. Round of applause. You don't feel any weirder because we need ad and coming up in a couple of minutes, but thank you all.
It's very good. Thank you.